The video game industry has produced several outstanding action characters and franchises throughout the years. Still, it's difficult to deny that God of War has made one of the most significant contributions. It goes without saying that strength is essential when facing gods. Some characters in the God of War series display power that rivals and sometimes surpasses that of superheroes. Each God of War character displays incredible power, but one character that stands out is Tyr, who isn't just powerful but extremely wise. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the video to learn more about Tyr. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Tyr in Norse mythology. Tyr is a Norse battle god who also serves as a deity in charge of law and justice. He plays a very modest role in the mythology of the Viking Age that has survived, and his prestige during the later period of the Viking Age may have been comparably low. However, it wasn't always like this. As numerous types of evidence demonstrate, Tyr was formerly among the most revered gods among the Germanic peoples. It is clearly documented in the Viking Age and older texts that Tyr was one of the main Norse battle gods, along with Odin and Thor. For instance, the Valkyrie Sigurdrifa advises the human hero Sigurd to ask Tyr for success in battle in the poem Sigurdufmal, one of the poems in the poetic Edda. This image is supported by another Eddic poetry, the Lokasana, in which Loki insults Tyr by claiming that he could never bring people together and could only cause them to fight. In Norse mythology, he is a Norse god connected to battle and valor. He is frequently shown as only having one hand, since the wolf Fenrir took the other. Tius or Tio, the Latinized name, is also properly spelled Mars Thincus in Roman mythology. In the late Icelandic Eddas, Tyr is alternately portrayed as the son of Odin in the prose Edda and of Hymir in the poetic Edda. Since his name is ultimately related to that of Deus, the reconstructed supreme god in Indo-European religion, it is probably that Tuisto, the heavenly progenitor of the Germanic peoples, was previously regarded as the father of the gods and the head of the pantheon. The most famous myth about Tyr is about how the wolf giant Fenrir took his hand. The gods opted to nurture the wolf cub in Asgard before Fenrir was shackled and imprisoned. Young Fenrir's future was known to them, so they allowed him to stay in an effort to attempt to control their destiny. However, everyone else feared the wolf, and only Tyr ventured to approach it. Tyr was the only one to approach the wolf to feed him as a result. However, due to Fenrir's rapid growth, Odin and the other gods agreed to cage him in order to avert Ragnarok. Every chain the gods had used to enclose him was broken by Fenrir, until they sought assistance from the dwarfs, who created the magical Gleipnir, an unbreakable chain constructed from 6 enchanted materials. It was said that Gleipnir was as delicate as a silk ribbon. The wolf became skeptical when the gods brought Fenrir back with a new chain, since it seemed senseless to be chained with something so fragile. Therefore, Fenrir decided to test their honor by having one of the gods place their hand in his mouth while he was tied as a sign of good faith to ensure that the silk chain was genuine. One of the gods would lose a hand if they were lying. Tyr took a stealthy step forward and put his hand right inside the wolf's mouth. Gleipnir just got more powerful and tightly wound as Fenrir flailed and kicked. Fenrir chewed off Tyr's hand in wrath after realizing he had been duped. He is revered in Gylfaginning as the harbinger of victory, one of the bravest and most heroic for his part in binding Fenrir, as well as a proponent of perjury. He was no longer seen as a god who promoted peace among humans as a result of the latter. Tyr in God of War universe. With the exception of Thor, most of the Vanir and Aesir surrounding Tyr were dwarfed by his enormous height. He had an oblong head and a slender, muscular body. In some places, his long brown hair and beard were braided into follicles. He covered it with a black leather vest and a faded blue shirt. Like many other Aesir gods, he was covered in tattoos, particularly one across his left arm and another that was a blue triangle pointing from the base of his hair to the tip of his nose. Tyr, one of the few persons the giants trusted, shared Mimir's blessing of having eyes made of sparkling crystals and a golden iris. Instead of hoarding information and zealously protecting it as Odin did, Tyr preferred to engage with other cultures, learn from them, and impart knowledge and wisdom to them. Tyr was generous and took things from the locations he went to. Tyr retained all the presents in his temple, perhaps to serve as a constant reminder of the knowledge and wisdom he had gained and imparted. The Temple of Tyr was built in each world owing to Tyr's guidance, and all the realms revered him for his calm and forgiving demeanor arena as they collaborated to accomplish so. Even the Aesir's adversaries, even the giants, confided in Tyr with some of their most intimate secrets and information about how to enter their realm. They also gave him their jewel-studded eyes, which gave him access to all realms. Other people outside the Aesir, including Mimir, continued to praise Tyr. Overall, Tyr differs significantly from his Aesir ancestors, who were warlike, power-hungry, self-righteous, and arrogant. In light of this, Tyr may very well be one of the few magnificent gods, if not really good. Tyr is one of the very few gods who has gained Kratos' esteem as a result. According to Mimir, Tyr strived to see the best in people, which frequently made him vulnerable to their treachery and evil nature, especially that of Odin, who would ultimately betray him. Odin merely came so he could enter Jotunheim and discover their precognition secrets, contrary to Tyr's hopes that he would reunite with the giants and build unbreakable peace. After that, Thor put forth a lot of effort to prevent Odin from even setting foot in Jotunheim, possibly feeling guilty for the ensuing rampage and genocide his brother carried out on Odin's instructions. Because of his proximity to them, it is conceivable that the giants themselves were desperate enough to give Tyr, an outsider, access to their realm's hidden passageways. The realm gate to Jotunheim was concealed from Odin by Tyr with the assistance of even Kratos' future bride, Laufey. The intricate traps discovered in his temple and the way that Tyr was able to conceal the Jotunheim portal between the realms were both examples of his ingenuity and cunning. Even Mimir, who was widely regarded as the brightest man alive, was immensely pleased with how Tyr ensured that the Aesir could not enter the realm of the giants with the information he obtained. Tyr in God of War 2018. As the half-brother of Baldur, Heimdall, and Thor, Tyr was the son of Odin and Rur. Tyr strove for peace while being the god of war. He was a regular traveler, eager to see various cultures and see things from different angles, since he thought that was the only way to find genuine peace. Tyr was frequently given artifacts throughout his travels as a result of his good disposition, and he kept them carefully hidden away in his own personal vault. To facilitate quicker and more seamless transit between the 9 realms, Tyr was also in charge of overseeing the construction of the temple in the Lake of Nine. Being a born peacemaker, Tyr tried to mediate a settlement between his people, the Aesir, and their longtime adversaries, the Jotnar, after the Aesir and the Vanir had tentatively agreed to a ceasefire. Despite their fear of the Aesir's might, the giants had enough faith in Tyr to let him enter Jotunheim to conduct discussions. Tyr was unaware that Odin had a hidden plan to break any agreements made and instead take advantage of the chance to spy on the giants and obtain their insider knowledge. The giants banished Odin from Jotunheim and cursed him never to return because they anticipated his betrayal. Odin was furious and turned his fury on the Midgard giants, letting Thor slaughter them at will. Tyr helped the guardian of the Jotnar, Faye, hide the gate to Jotunheim in the area between worlds so that Odin would never have a direct route back to Jotunheim out of the shame for his part in the Jotnar's misery. Tyr, however, was still able to enter Jotunheim through the secret portal using the Unity Stone. Odin eventually began to see Tyr as a challenge to his authority and had a valid suspicion that he was working with the giants. As a result, Tyr was imprisoned in Asgard covertly by Odin, who also propagated false reports of his demise. Because of this, nearly everyone in the 9 realms thought Odin had murdered Tyr. Tyr in God of War Ragnarok. Odin pretended to be Tyr and locked himself up in a mine in Svartalfheim when Kratos and Atreus went to look for Tyr after learning that he was still alive. Odin did this to keep the two from learning where his son was truly being held captive. In the end, Brok revealed this deceit. Tyr stayed incarcerated and lived through Ragnarok's devastation of Asgard because his prison was one of the few areas of the kingdom that managed to survive. Many years after Odin's passing, Kratos and Freya visited Niflheim and found the abandoned prison being guarded by a few of the last Aenyar. The two find the actual Tyr in one of the cells there. Mimir believes he is genuine, but Kratos first believes he is only an illusion created by Odin. When Kratos and Freya revealed that Odin was dead and that all the kingdoms were now free of the Aesir's tyranny after many millennia, Tyr was thrilled. According to Freya, Odin's power only permitted him to assume the forms of the living. Tyr would be more useful if he was still alive than if he were dead. Thus, Odin needed to keep him alive. Tyr spends a short period of time in his jail after being set free, reflecting on everything he has learned and attempting to recall Kratos, whose name he had previously heard. Later, when he was exploring Niflheim, he overheard Sinmara sobbing at Surtur's passing. After leaving Niflheim, he can be seen traveling across the other worlds. What makes Tyr so powerful? Tyr probably possessed enormous superhuman strength. It It may be presumed that his strength is far greater than that of other Aesir who are not of Odin's ancestry. As a god, Tyr was inherently immortal. Only divine powers and tools could harm or kill him. Tyr is also capable of regeneration. Tyr previously gave his limb to earn the dog's confidence after capturing Garm. When the dog realized it had been duped, it chewed off his arm completely, but when Kratos, Mimir and Freya discovered him, his limb had already grown back. Tyr is praised by Mimir as being a highly resourceful deity. Although he is a benevolent deity, Tyr derives most of his strength from battle and will not hesitate to use it to protect himself. Tyr also gained entry to the realm between realms by using the Unity Stone. This made it possible for Tyr to visit far-off places to explore numerous civilizations. Additionally, he gained access to Jotunheim's hidden passageways, which not even Odin possessed. Tyr apparently excelled in all types of armed and unarmed fighting, befitting his reputation as the god of war. It might be presumed that he was an incredibly powerful fighter when his intelligence and cunning nature were combined. Tyr shared Mimir's wonderful Bifrost crystal-made bejeweled eyes, which were a gift from the giants. They have the power to expose information and show beautiful pictures. Marvelous verdict. Despite being the god of war, unlike his Greek counterparts Ares and Kratos, Tyr utilized his powers and prowess to promote peace among the races. Unlike his other Aesir, he did not utilize his gifts and wisdom for selfish ends, but rather for good. Although he is a god of war, his benevolence sets him apart from the rest of the Aesir. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.